Okay, welcome everybody watching from home. It's our 6th or 7th stretch and release now, I think. Today we're going to use basically a foam roller, just some other things without using foam rollers as well, but if you've got one, grab one out and we'll get going. So first one, we're going to actually lie onto our sides here. Facing towards the camera so you can actually see to begin with. We'll go one arm either underneath your head to support it, or if you've got a pillow, keep that there. But knees bent up to about hip height. And we're going to go for a roll forwards over that roller and back. And then if you've got the space, stretching that arm back and over and into the center. So it's like the book openers we've done a few times, but with that extra rotation forwards. And back over. This one can easily be done if you've got a firm water bottle as well, not a foam roller. So rolling forwards and back. You're going to go for about 10 of these on each side. Take them as slow or as quickly as you feel like you need to. And then about 5 now. 5 more. There you go. Two. And 1. Now before we roll into the other side to reverse this movement, straighten out the bottom leg. Roller underneath that top knee. And we're going to do a modified version of the same as we already did. But as you roll forwards, you want to take that hip with you. And then back into the center and stretching out again. So it should roll a little bit of that inside thigh here. Rolling forwards as far as you're comfortable. And then rolling back. Go for 6 here. 3. 4. 5. And 6. Awesome. Now either roll them to the other side if you want to face the camera, or you can just completely flip. We'll do exactly the same on the other side. Supporting your head or just on your mat. Stretching your body over forwards, rolling back, and arm back behind you. Ideally, you want to keep that arm straight as you go back. If you need to and you don't have space, you can bend it. We'll go for another 10. Well, 9 now, actually. Three. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. And last one here. 10. And before we roll over again, roll under that top knee, straightening out the bottom leg. And we're just going to accentuate that movement, rolling as far forward as you're comfortable to do. Rolling back and up and over. Should be a nice fluid movement here. Three more, make it 6 each side. 2, and 3. Awesome. Hopefully that's opened up our hips a little bit. Moving on. Come into a kneeling position here. Have your foam roller out in front of you and come down onto your elbows if you can. Mine's a bit firm, so it's a little bit sore to come onto these elbows, but you're going to stretch out in front of you and pull back in. Try to keep these hips in a nice stable position. Might be some clicking and locking as you stretch forward, but stretching out and coming back in. Go for about 10 of these ones, taking as long as you need to. Nice deep breath in as you come down. And out as you come back up. Should feel a nice stretch through that middle back and a little bit under your shoulder blades. That's about 5 more to go. And one more. You can hang out here for just a few seconds, really sitting into that stretch. And coming back. Don't get your hair tangled. While we're on all fours here, we'll do some thread the needles as well. So, hand underneath your opposite arm, foam roller just down underneath. You're going to rotate your spine. Using that roller hip, you just a little few centimeters further, and then up towards the sky. Do the same movement here 5 times this way. 3. 4. And 5. Now before we twist towards the other side, we're going to switch the arms. So right arm is now going to come onto the foam roller with the palm facing up, and the left arm is going to come underneath as you stretch out forwards with that right arm. And then back. You should feel a nice firm stretch underneath the arm here. Go for 5, like this. 2. 3. As you go forward, you might feel more comfortable to rotate that thumb towards the roof rather than flat down. Whatever your body feels like it's comfortable with. And last one here. Perfect. And let's rotate this the other way, evening everything out. We'll start with just our regular thread the needles again. On all fours. Right hand's now going to come onto this roller as we twist around. Then coming up and towards the sky. And back under. We'll go for 5 in this format. Three. 4. And 5. And then the alternate format to get a little under that arm. So left arm will come flat, palm down. Right arm's going to come underneath here. Stretching forward with the left arm and under with the right. 5 in this way as well. 3, 4, and 5. My shoulders are definitely feeling a bit stretched out here. So we'll grab this foam roller. If you've got one a bit longer, that's ideal, but lying onto your back. Ideally, if you can get your head supported as well, even better. If not, you've got some pillows, but lying onto your back here. Can't see my roller, but arms behind your head here. I'm just going to lie, really just breathing into this one. Take 10 nice deep breaths, filling that chest, expand and contract. Let your body sink into it. If your arms start to feel a bit pinchy, they can come across your chest. Okay, from here, your arms up into the air. You're going to bring them back, almost so they can touch the floor, and back into center. So if you want to support your head as well, if your foam roll is a bit small, we can do it single arm, back, and forwards. Try and go for, if you're doing single arms, 5 each side. If you're doing double, we'll go for 10. And 5. Opposite arm, go for 5 here if you're doing single ones. 4 and 5. Then arm up into the air, we'll come out to the side, stretching down towards the floor and back up. Either single or double, same repetitions of this one. 3, 4, and 5. Should be really getting in under those shoulder blades here. Opposite side. Go for 5. I don't have the space, so I'm just going to do half ones. 4 and 5. And then, using the end of your roller here, you're going to get it right up into the back of your neck. So you should find the base of your skull where it sort of dips off into an empty space. Get the edge of your little roller into there. You find some really nice little tender spots in your neck that you can get it into. You can roll side to side, finding spots, and pressing your hand straight down into it. This one's really independent. Everyone's going to have different spots that they feel are a bit tender. So take your time with this one. I'm just going to do some rolling until we feel a release. Tucking that chin in if you can't quite find the position. And rolling. This is really good if you've got a headache, any sort of upper neck pain. Trying this one semi-regularly. And then let's get that foam roller lying this way and putting it right into that middle back. Hands behind your head here, and if you can, lifting that bottom up into the floor. So from here, we're going to roll up and down through that thoracic spine. As far up as you feel comfortable, not up into the neck though, just in either through the shoulder blades or down into that low back. Rolling up and down. No set amount for this one, but we'll go for about 10 each way. If you're feeling clicks and pops, that's completely normal as well. Try not to get your shirt stuck under it like I have a few times. And if you've got a spot that's particularly stuck, what we're going to do is get the roller into that spot and extend your body back over the roller and back up. Holding it in one position, flattening that back out, and coming back up. Go for about 5 repetitions in the spot that's really stuck. And then we're going to roll it into a different spot. Just one more spot that feels a little bit more rigid. And we'll do the same thing. Back and forward. Brilliant. And then sitting up. Next, we want this one to come down a little bit lower into your lumbar spine. So into the low back. And we'll roll over the top of this one again, but we'll come to have both your feet up in the air. From here, you're going to go both feet up in the air or bent. From here, you want to stretch out one leg down and back in. Should be a bit of a stretch through the front of these hips here. And a bit of a stretch through that low back as well. And down and back up. You have the hands on the floor for some extra support, or either out to the side. It'll come down. If you want to, you can just have the foot on the floor as well. And do the same with the opposite leg. A nice little hip flexor stretch here. We'll try and go for 5 each side. Might feel a little clunky to some people, and that's okay as well. And then 5, if one's a bit more stuck than the other, definitely do more on that leg. Three, 4, and 5. And while we are here, keeping the roller into that low back, have a sit up. Use that momentum to get you there. And we'll come a little bit lower in through our glutes here. So making this nice little M position, we can roll back and forwards over our glutes. And for a little roll here, just releasing that superficial muscle. Then to get it a little bit deeper, we'll go our opposite leg crossed over to the opposite knee if we can. We'll go for that same roll. You should feel a little bit more tender on the side that your knee is bent on. If you want to, you can rock your body a little bit more that way to get that full stretch in. And try and rock. Go for about 10 repetitions on the side. Especially nice if you've been sitting down all day. 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then back into the middle. And go to the opposite side. This one's a bit stiffer for me, so I might do a few more repetitions here. Go for about 10, really leaning onto that side if you can, so you get that nice deep glute muscle. 8, 9, and 10. Beautiful. Now there's a few that I won't be covering in depth today, but if you feel like you'd like to roll out these legs, you can. Let's do your hamstrings. You can roll back and forwards in this position here. And the calves, same thing, these ones can be a bit tender. Rolling back and forwards. If you want to make it even harder on one other leg, you can cross it over, do the same thing, or even just flexing and extending your toes against that fulcrum of the roller. You can do the same thing on the front of the legs here. So, supporting yourself here in these ones. But they're not the main ones I want us to focus on today. So there's just a few you can do later on in the recordings. But one I would like us to get into is lying or sitting on your side here. Little muscle on the side of your hip. So hip bone should be here, right into the side. We're going to roll back and forwards over the top of that little side of your hip muscle. The little one that attaches at the top of your ITV. So if you're game, you're more than welcome to roll down the entirety of this ITV here, to the side of that leg. But for the purpose of this, we're just going to stick with that upper glute muscle, going back and forwards over it. You find one spot that's particularly pinchy, hold that for a little bit, and release it when you feel comfortable. These ones we want to try and find 2 or 3 spots that are a bit pinchy, hold them until they release, and then move on. Beautiful. And before we roll and do the other side, we're going to get under this arm here, roll out those lats a little bit. So coming down all the way onto your side, hand behind your head, or it can be on the floor here. Getting into that little pocket of tissue underneath your arm, just before you hit the shoulder. So you should find some really pokey spots here. And you roll forwards and backwards over this one as well. Same thing, finding 2 or 3 spots here, holding it until they release. Lots of us should be feeling these ones a little bit stiff with all the sitting we've been doing in lockdown. Going to the other side. Starting into that hip as well. You need to come up into sort of plank position here. But I just don't have the knees bent. Get less pressure through that hip. Finding the spot. And then you're rolling back or forwards to hit the sweet spot and holding it there until it releases. Finding 2 or 3 spots. Keeping it on until it releases. And one more little spot here if you can. Okay, and then coming up and doing our lats as well. All underneath that shoulder. Finding a spot. Usually your dominant side will be a little bit tighter through here. Holding it until a few spots release. Perfect. And that is all for our stretch and release class today using our foam roller. As I said in the comment section, if you can't use a foam roller, a roll-up towel can be really helpful as well. Even taking around it to hold its position, or a stainless steel water bottle can be really helpful as long as it doesn't bend. But thanks to everyone zooming in and watching my recording. See you again next week.